Matty Johns, who was a little bit under weather, not self-inflicted the other day, is standing by, and I hope he's feeling a bit better. Matty, how are you?
Joel, what's happening, mate? Fletch, how's Luna Park going, boys?
It's fantastic. Huge crowd here. Look at them all just going berserk. You can scream if you want, guys. No, it's going good here. We're just discussing to our audience and also to our staff and my colleagues. I'm going to ask you, Matthew, off air, but I'm going to ask you on air. If when the day comes when, unfortunately, you leave this great world, where would you like your ashes spread?
Well, Fletch, I was discussing this with Trish the other day. There was a couple of options. I think primarily probably Brookie Oval.
Oh, well, no, you can't.
Hang on,
no, you can't do that.
Protest.
No, you can't do that because the great thrower, he wants to do that.
Well,
No, so
I can't imagine going. I as much as I love Max, I couldn't live eternal life with Max Grelich with thrower. But I'll tell you what I thought of the other day, and I asked a solicitor about it, but... So what I'm thinking about doing with the house, I've got no plans to move out. So I said, if I signed a contract to keep my property here in the family for 50 years, can we get buried in the backyard, right? So, like, as each generation dies, and he said, no, you can't, because technically it's a mass grave, and you couldn't do that. So yeah, at the moment, and it's hard because I've got no real bait. Well, this is home now, but boys, I've had many homes. I've had the Hunter Valley, I've had Newcastle, now I'm up here, so it's hard. Maybe just a little bit here, just spread me around a little bit.
Yeah, well, what about,
like a good Friday night.
What about, could you bury some of your ashes with your pets? Because I know you were very... What did you do with Charlie? Obviously, we lost Charlie towards the end of last year. What did you do with Charlie's ashes?
Still got Charlie's ashes right next to me, in the bedside. Get up every morning, give the box a bit of a pat. Yeah, that's a good call. It's something to think about.
Because I like Asian food. I would like my kids to put in a spring roll and eat it. Maybe have a little bit of my life in them as they munch on a pork and vegetable spring roll. With
Perfect.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there's a Keith Richards one. Keith Richards put up a big line of beer. Well, I think he mixed his old man's ashes with some turd and just snorted it. So that was, I thought, that's what a way to go. I mean, God.
I mean, I probably could ask my kids to do that, but then they'd say, Dad, that's not. So we don't do that sort of stuff in the eastern suburbs. Anywho, Matthew.
Don't the Raiders players tell the story of Peter Jackson, the great late Peter Jackson, the character, where they took him out on a cruise to put the ashes out into the ocean, which is what he wanted. And then it blew out on him. So that was his. Is that true, Matty?
I think it was Kevy and Badge.
Yeah.
Gary Belcher and Kev. I think they took it out, and the wind went from nor'east to southerly.
Badge isn't dead, is he? No. Right, sorry.
No lead heart.
What about? I tell you what's not dead, rugby league. Rugby league's flying. We're off to Vegas. What about St. Peter? What about St. Peter, Matthew, who he went to Fox and Friends and he did this. Have a listen to this.
Good morning, Mr. President. I know you watch Fox and Friends, which is a great program, extremely fair and balanced. Mr. President, we want to introduce you to the toughest game on earth, rugby league, in the world's sport and entertainment capital, Las Vegas. We know you love physical, tough contact sports. There's no sport more brutal than rugby league. Our players don't wear pads or helmets. As you know, Mr. President, the US has a trade surplus with Australia, one of the rare countries. You attending will balance this out a bit. Hope to see you at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on Saturday, March 1. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Fox and Friends.
Has he done enough, Matthew?
I mean, wouldn't it be enormous if he walked into the stadium? I mean, the reception he gets everywhere. I mean, at the end of his first term, Donald Trump was he was quite a pariah towards the end. I was watching Bill Maher the other night, and Bill Maher sort of sits right in the middle. He's fair, Bill Maher. He came out the other day and goes, mate, he said, Donald Trump, he said, is just probably the coolest president who's just ever been elected at the moment. He said, I don't know any other president who is so popular. Now, I mean, it's split, but it's certainly not 50-50 as what was before. I think the majority of people, Like, his popularity is incredible. When he walked into the UFC, whether he goes to the boxing or whatever, the reception is just enormous. Certainly better than the reception Albo gets, or back in the day, Scott Morrison, when he walked into a stadium.
That video, the audio sounds like it's a hostage video, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does.
It needs to put a little bit of inflection into it. Have a little bit. But if Donald Trump turns up, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump is there. And don't forget, like Lachlan, he's got a lot of pull.
Yes.
And he'll be there. Lachlan's going to be there. So you never know.
It's just so entertaining watching each day his policies, whether it is bringing back plastic straws or he's like. I love his thing on Prince Harry. They ask him, would he kick him out? He goes, I'm not going to kick him out. He goes, he's got enough troubles at home with his wife, Megan. She's terrible.
What about the one when he's in India?
Yeah.
So he's in
Local
India.
journalist.
Yeah, local journalist. He's with the Prime Minister of India, and they're there, and there's a guy, and he's speaking English, but he's got that real strong Indian accent. And halfway through, you can just see him, and he just goes, I can't understand you. I can't understand. Like, even in their own countries, in other people's countries, he's like that old.
He doesn't care.
Old uncle.
Yeah.
Who's going a little bit senile. Who doesn't give a rat's
Not
ass.
one rat's. Not even one.
There's no diplomacy at all.
No.
Oh, he's
No.
great.
And at the moment, the great thing about it is that it's just crushing the woke. It's just crushing it. I think everyone was just over it, and he's just Sam Costas just paddled it over the fence.
Mate, that's true, mate. That is the greatest thing he's brought to this planet.
What?
Is the woke crushing.
Oh, yeah,
and Matthew's analogy. He's just got woke's coming in short. He's just Sam.
For old Sammy.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Matthew, are we worried about if you're a supporter of a certain team, or obviously after the last weekend, a few teams were quite average. Some were really good. If you're a fan of a certain team, should you be worried? And if you're a fan of a certain team, should you be excited?
Well, watching it last weekend, a couple of things. I was just sitting there talking to Coops about it then, because he's close with a lot of the Melbourne boys, and I said, would you absolutely guarantee me, on your left, Melbourne would be top 4? And he went, yep. And I said, well, okay. I said, well, last week I watched them, and I know they had a lot of young blokes in, but that's one of the worst performances I've seen from Melbourne. First or second up in a trial game against the Warriors. I thought defensively they were really, really poor. Warriors were good, but they run like Melbourne. And let's go back and have a look at the history, right? Recent history. So Penrith won their first comp over South Sydney. South Sydney the next year don't play finals. Then the next year they win the grand final over Parramatta. Parramatta don't make the finals. Last year, the year before they beat the Broncos. Broncos don't make the finals. They play the Melbourne Storm. Now, it'd be just a massive turn-up. It'd be huge. But something to think about, boys.
Yeah. I like that little stat, though.
I'll tell you what I did like. I like Parramatta. I like the look at Parramatta. Rolesy, they look really fit. They were really focused. They knew what they were doing. They were decisive in everything they did. Though Dylan Brown showed that he wasn't distracted or... he played with a lot of focus. I thought he was good. I think there's a lot of good signs around Parramatta. Titans were diabolical.
Dylan Brown, Matthew, we'll get to the Titans in a minute. Dylan Brown. So I was very, very against the camp, Brian, of him being $1 million player. However, today they're talking about an $11 million deal over 10 years. So 1.1. And I said to Brian, I said, well, I actually don't mind that because in 10 years' time, $1 million is not what it is today. But then Scotty Sattler, you were talking about the Nurse Ratchet, Brian.
Ratchet.
Scotty Sattler said that all the players have the Nurse Ratchet.
I think it's part of the RLPA rule.
Yes, part of the RLPA, exactly right.
So he could effectively add 17 to 20%. That's what I'm thinking.
So I'm back against it. Matthew, where do you stand?
Oh, no, that's Munster money. If it's going to be Ratchet, like it's... like I looked at Dylan last week and I thought... particularly his first half was really good. I was really impressed by it. But there were periods in the game that he still disappeared. Like, I thought his football... I thought it was probably symbolic of his football, given the fact there was a period in the game where they were under the pump a little bit and he did disappear. Like, if you're going to pay someone that sort of money, that sort of contract is Cameron Munster at his peak. It's one of those really iconic players where you put them on the biggest stage in the biggest game, and you know they're going to be the best player. They're the players that demand that money. But I do get the fact that it's supply and demand as far as halves are concerned, but I wouldn't be paying it.
I'll tell you why this can happen, Brian, and this happens at many football clubs, is self-interest, right? So, yes, it's 1.1 as opposed to 1.2, 1.3 because they can offer 11 years. But the majority of people who would be nodding saying, yeah, we've got to get this done, they desperately need to kill right now. They don't give a rat's what's happening in 7 or 8 years' time.
Yeah.
Is that fair
that's
or
the
not,
problem.
Matt?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's, and the deal that was done handed too much power to the agents in the Dillon situation and the Mitch Moses situation, and because they got the deal done. For them, it's like, look, we got it done. We've avoided the criticism. You want us to sign them, we got it done. Chances are it's going to be someone else's problem 2 or 3 years down the track.
Fan of Luna Park? I'm just down here at Luna Park now, just looking at it. It's a cracking spot. And if so, do you like the adrenaline rides? Does that get you going?
I do, Fletch. I do enjoy a ghost ride, but more to the point, I love a haunted house. Yeah. I love the haunted house. Walking in, you don't know what's around every corner, the darkness. Once you go on a first date in the haunted house, and it can be quite eerie, but at the same time quite romantic. You get the opportunity to show your wares and brave. Yeah. Excellent. Right up it.
Mine's more the movie cinema.
Is it?
That's if you go on a first date.
You reckon?
What?
Yeah, well, that was because it was dark and you could go for a peck.
Yeah.
And then, not that I ever did.
No.
But I'm saying if I had my time over, for all you young people out there in the audience, especially today, get off your phones, get to a Hoyt's or even an event cinema, get out the back and get some popcorn and start smooching.
Mate, well, my first date I took Trish to, at the moment I wasn't dating anywhere. I took her to the Newcastle Knights presentation ball, and honestly, she had the best night just watching Joey get all those awards. It was fantastic. Mate, we just danced the night away. I presented my best self, and I've never been the same since.
Dan's just come up with a, I didn't know this, but Luna Park backwards smells something. It's quite good.
Oh, bro.
Oh, there's a lot of here.
Well, I tell you what, by the prices, they just about get you.
Disco Dan, that's not bad.
Matthew, when are you heading to Viva Las Vegas?
To Kenny Nagus, mate, I go there. I leave on the 25th, arrive on the 25th, the morning of. Very much looking forward to it, boys. I know you go tomorrow, Fletch. You go tomorrow?
Yes,
going
tomorrow.
Brian.
Me and Nathan. Yeah, it's 11 nights in Vegas. I've told people who have been to Vegas, they said, Fletch, you're off your head. And I said, I hope so.
What have you promised?
11 nights is going to 11 nights is going to be a stretch, but I've got Nathan with me. We've got a plan out. So we've told our producer, Ben Hogarth, book some nice restaurants. I want to go see a show. I love magicians, and I love, when they do like a Michael Jackson, like a imitation.
There's a Michael Jackson show there.
Yeah.
I'm going to that.
I like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Keeps idle hands at the devil's playground, as I always say. And I'm with Nathan, and when those little hands, those little, satanic hands get a hold of me, I could end up anywhere. So,
well,
I've
mate,
got 5
given
nights.
your vices and Heine's vices, Las Vegas, for different reasons, is probably the worst place you two places can go.
But I want to be in bed by midnight, every night. And I'm going to get up, I'm going to train.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to train. Matthew, we're going to go to the gym. Thoughts?
Well, you
And
can. You do that, and then when I arrive, we'll have a few days.
No, because it's going to be 25, 26 degrees.
Can you back up, Brian? If you tear one right on, can you get yourself to
I'm
the
pretty
gym?
good, yeah. Oh, to the gym?
Yeah.
Nah,
Nah.
not really. Not really. I can
Different
back up.
mindset.
Yeah, no, I sort of don't. The problem is, as soon as you order room service, like at 3 a.m. and you come back, and you're just dipping those chips into that sauce. You get the mayo all over your lemon.
You're doing that.
You get up in the morning and your bed just because you got the tomato sauce here, it looks like a Japanese flag. It's rank. Oh gosh, I can't wait to get there. Actually,
Matthew, all the best over there, mate. Safe travels, and good to hear that you're sounding well again.
Oh, good on you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy Luna Park in reverse.
It's
Yes.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.